Kreuser aqui e o vídeo de hoje é uma entrevista com o diretor Mike Rianda, que também é o escritor do filme A Família Mitchell e a Revolta das Máquinas, que estreia na Netflix nesta sexta-feira, dia 30, e é uma animação muito fofa, fala bastante sobre família, e apesar de ser um filme infantil, tem várias questões de existencialismo, principalmente quando tem essa discussão sobre a tecnologia e também a revolta das máquinas e como que eles em família acabam tendo essa aventura em conjunto, sendo que a gente tá falando de gerações diferentes, com entendimento de tecnologia diferentes, e ainda temos a Olivia Colman como a tecnologia da pau. A tecnologia da pau. Realmente, nesse filme um pouquinho. Mas é um filme incrível pra família toda e eu espero que vocês gostem muito desse filme e também dessa entrevista. É uma conversa super divertida, ele tava super animado. Eu amei conversar com ele e eu espero que vocês gostem dessa entrevista tanto quanto eu gostei de fazer. Mas antes, não esquece de se inscrever aqui no canal e clicar no sininho pra receber notificação pra quando tiver um vídeo novo, que eu sempre trago as novidades dos filmes e das séries aqui pra vocês e entrevistas legais como essa. Então fiquem com a entrevista.
Para minha família, o maior desafio talvez seja o apocalipse das máquinas.
Atenção, robôs! Capturem todas as pessoas no planeta!
It's so funny we have this interview on the day of the FPAO event, right?
Is it? Is it the day of the PAL event?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, Mike, you are the director and the screenwriter of the movie. What was the idea behind the Mitchells versus the Machine, and why did you decide to write this story?
Yeah, I decided to write the story because I wanted to tell a story. The thing I love the most in the world is my crazy family. I really feel like when you're making anything, you're making any art, it should like come from a place of love. So I wanted to sort of start with them because I love them so much, and I wanted to sort of tell a story about them. And whenever I talk to people about my family, I feel like they really connect because I'm like, look, I love my family, but we're a mess. And it's sort of like, I think that lets people's guard down because I think everyone feels like their family's a mess. And they're like, oh, I thought everyone else is perfect. You are openly admitting that your family's a mess. So in the movie, we wanted to have the family be a little bit more dysfunctional, a little more real. And I wanted to tell a story about that. And also about how it takes work to have these relationships with your family, to answer the phone where you could not answer the phone. You want to be proud and not apologize, but it's harder to apologize, but it's better for your relationships, and those are the some of the most important relationships of your life. And then so we wanted to sort of put that in a situation where there was a lot of pressure on it. So killer robots. So I loved killer robots when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, this is sort of like a fun juxtaposition because it also stands in as sort of like the generational divide between parents and kids. Basically my dad has a way different relationship with technology than I do, than my nephews do. So it's sort of like trying to fuse those things together and sort of use technology as a metaphor for like what separates us.
And how long have you been working on this project?
Years, 5 years.
5 years.
That's why I'm so happy. You could see I'm very happy, but I'm happy to have it finally being released. Because it's been such a long time. I always feel like, it's like I've really liked it for a while. In the beginning it was hard and it was like, oh, this isn't good yet. I feel like we've been making it better and better. So I'm really happy to let it loose.
And how do you keep up to date on the work that bring memes, for example, the monkey video?
We're all on the internet a lot. And I do think it was this balance because sometimes we would push it too far. And like my nephew, who is like, 14 or is 16 now, I think. At the time he was 14, but he was like, this sucks. And I'm like, okay. I'm like taking big copious notes, like, all right. What else did you hate? So it was fun because we had to basically find stuff that was like kind of evergreen, because I would love if people see this in 10, 15, 20 years, it to not feel like, oh, that's like really coming from 2020 or something. So we hopefully a monkey screaming will always be funny. That's
What's the most bizarre thing you have ever been through on your cell phone when you should pay attention to something else?
I have hit cars recently. I mean, nothing bad. It's like a little bump on the fender or something, but occasionally I've been in a situation where it's like, you go on a road trip and you realize you lose your phone and you're like turning, 14 lanes of traffic, like, I've got to get it. You know, and then you get it and there's no text or calls or anything. No one cares.
And what's the last technology you said, it's not for me?
I try to be open-minded about that stuff because I know that I have an impulse to say, I don't want to use Twitter or TikTok or, you know, what's the new one? Discord. And I was like, my instinct is to be like, no, this is stupid. But then I realized, I'm like, look, everything seems stupid to the people when they have it for the first time. You know, TV seems stupid, movies seem stupid, whatever. And, you know, if you don't go with the flow and learn these things, you know, you sort of, you lose track of what is happening in the world. So I try to be open-minded, even though I do have an impulse to throw it all in the trash.
And how was Olivia Colman's choice for the role of Paul?
When I saw The Favorite, I mean, I think everybody just like saw The Favorite and was like, whoa, this person's incredible because she's so funny, but she's also so scary in that movie, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then when we watched The Favorite, I was like, that's the same person that's in Tyrannosaur, that's in the same person that's in Hot Fuzz, you know, and you realize, like, everyone realized at the same time that, like, oh, this person is incredible. So we had an offer out to her and she was up for an Oscar. And when she won, I was like, I'm so happy for her, but she's never going to do the movie now. And it was like so awesome that when she won, she still did the movie. And she's so great. It's like, she's everything you want her to be.
The movie talks to different generations. We have a character like the father who doesn't understand much about technology and someone like Casey, super tuned in new technology. How do you expect the film to communicate with each of these generations?
Yeah, I mean, the hope was that everyone could see themselves in it. I always liked cartoons when I was a kid that, like, The Simpsons or something, where it's like, I was watching it and I was like, wow, it's funny that Homer fell. You know, and my parents were getting jokes about, like, you know, Spiro Agnew or something. And so it was like working on different levels. So hopefully the movie has a little bit of that, if we're lucky, because I think that hopefully it can speak to parents and say, like, oh, maybe you should see your kids more, you know, sort of see them in a deeper way than you want to, like they're their own people. And then hopefully kids can look at it and maybe appreciate a little bit more of what their parents are going through. People make fun of me because the movie's so silly, but I do really hope that I'm like, I want this movie to bring people together, and, you know, I want people to call their moms after they watch this or whatever. So it is like that was something we're shooting for.
Whenever we discuss technology and the internet, we talk a lot about good things, including bringing people together from a distance, but sometimes we live so much in this world that we forget about real things. Do you think that if we disconnected more, we would reconnect with the people around us?
Yes, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think technology is a tool, and I think that it can be used for sort of infinite good or infinite evil. And I think that, you know, something like you calling your parents on Zoom, you know, during a pandemic, that's like the best use you could ever imagine for technology, because you would never be able to see them otherwise. And then, you know, but there's also ways in which tech companies are leveraging our time and attention for profit, you know? So I think that you have to sort of keep in mind those two things and sort of try to use technology to bring people together and ask, like, is this good for humanity or is this good for a tech company's profits, you know? And hopefully if it's good for humanity, we can do it and ignore all the other stuff. But, you know, it's sort of a ongoing it's like an ongoing fight we'll have.
So thank you so much. I love the movie. I enjoy so much. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good one.